What's up guys and welcome to the channel. In this video we are gonna take a look at the Zowie ZA12. We are gonna check who would I recommend the ZA12 for and which ZA series mice might be the best one for you. Let's go ahead and start the review. The Zowie ZA12 comes in a standard Zowie box. If you have ever bought a Zowie mouse, this looks pretty familiar to you. Inside the box there are extra mouse feet, which is always a good thing, and then there is the warranty information leaflet and the user guide. For the Zowie mice especially, the user guide is pretty useless. The Zowie ZA12 is very well built. There is no side flex, no top flex, and no bottom flex, but it does make this sound when I squeeze the mouse from the sides. The scroll wheel also lightly rattles when I shake the mouse. The build quality is all in all good. It doesn't make the sound in normal use and therefore it's a non-issue for me. If you have never seen or used the ZA series mouse from Zowie, it's the highest profile mouse from their ambidextrous series. It has a more pronounced and a higher hump than the S2. In my opinion, the hump on the ZA12 is a little bit too big. The ZA12 also feels a little bit too long for my liking. The width is alright for me though. The high profile is like nothing that I've used before. The hump is very pronounced. It's very much towards the back of the mouse and it's quite high. But from the front of the mouse it's quite low profile. The high hump makes it so that there is a lot of my palm touching the mouse, and my grip style with this mouse is more of a palm-claw hybrid. In the past few years the buttons have improved a lot in Zowie mice. The first ZA12 that I bought had very stiff clicks. Because of the stiffness it was quite hard to jitter click the buttons. Usually with this kind of design where the buttons are not separated from the shell, the clicks end up being stiff. But Zowie definitely has made some changes because the clicks on the ZA12-B feel soft. They are easy to actuate and they feel responsive. The side buttons are very crispy, but they do have some post-travel and some pre-travel. That is not a big deal though. I think even players who play Fortnite can easily use this mouse. The scroll wheels in the Zowie mice are pretty much a joke. It's very loud, it's quite unpleasant to scroll, but it's pretty easy to press down. It's alright in games, but in general use it's horrible. Let's have a quick sound test of the clicks. Sadly, the stock cable in the Zowie mice is pretty bad. It's a thin rubber cable, but it's not flexible at all. At least there is an extension in the shell that angles the cable a little bit upward so it doesn't drag on the mousepad. But still, for this price the cable should be better. I mean, the mouse does cost $80 and the same amount in euros, so it's definitely not a cheap mouse. So it surely does not provide the best bang for buck available. I decided to paracord the mouse, and I think you should too, but if you don't, you're definitely gonna need a bungee. All Zowie mice have pretty good mouse gates, but they're nothing that special in today's market. They provide decent glide and good smooth experience, but it is maybe even too smooth for my liking. Usually mouse feet go for control or speed, and these are kind of laying in the middle. They have some speed and they have some control, but they're not specializing in either one. That's maybe the biggest reason why I'm not a massive fan of the Zowie mouse gates. If you want to buy aftermarket skates, I highly recommend core pads with this mouse. Zowie mice have been popular among the professional players for a long time. One good reason for that is that these mice have been always plug and play. You can just plug the mouse in and configure every setting you want in the mouse. In these new Zowie models you can pretty much only change the polling rate and the DPI though. The options for polling rate are 125, 500 and 1000 Hz. The DPI options are 400, 800, 1600 and 3200. Some of you might want more control than that and I completely get it, but sadly there are no drivers available. The new sensor in the ZA-B series is the 3360 from Pixar. The implementation seems pretty much perfect, as there is no input lag and no acceleration. The ZA12-B feels very responsive, and although I could not aim my best with this mouse, it's not down to sensor. I blame the shape. This mouse is just a little bit too big for me and my grip style. But I'm pretty much the only one to blame for that. I think I should have bought the ZA13. With the ZA12 I'm sort of more comfortable fingertip gripping the mouse than claw gripping it. Now that's something that has never happened to me before. And I think that with the ZA13 I could be able to claw grip it just fine. If you happen to have either one of these mice, hit me up in the comment section about your hand size and your grip style. Also call me out if you would want me to review the ZA13. Let's quickly compare the ZA12-B and the S2. The measurements can sometimes be a little bit misleading. The ZA12 is only 2 mm longer than the S2. And then it's only 1 mm higher than the S2. and the S2 is actually 1mm wider than the ZA12. Looking at these measurements, the difference might look small, but I can tell you that the hand feeling is completely different. When I'm clawing the ZA12, it feels like it fills my whole hand. The hump makes the mouse feel clunky, and I think that is because too much of my palm is touching the mouse. If you look at this demonstration, there is a lot of my palm in contact with the hump of the mouse. With the S2, the hand feeling is a lot better. It feels less clunky, and it's easier to make fast movements with the S2. From these two shapes, I can easily say that I prefer the S2. And the biggest reason for that is the hump. That is just way too pronounced on the ZA12. So which of the ZA mice might be the best one for you? Well, my hands are 19 cm long and 10 cm wide, and I think the best one for me would be the ZA13. That comes down to my grip style and my hand size. If you have my hand size and you like palm grip, then you might want to go for the ZA12. If you have larger hands than I do and prefer claw grip, go for the ZA12, and if you prefer palm grip, then go for the ZA11. And for everybody that has smaller hands than I do, I recommend the ZA13, unless you have slightly smaller hands and you like the palm grip. So to conclude the review, the ZA12 is a good mouse, but it's not meant for everybody. In fact, I do think that this is a very niche mouse. If you happen to want a Cooler Master MM711, but you would want something that's even more higher, then this might be the good mouse for you. Also, if you have pretty much my hand size and you like palm grip, this might be a good mouse for you, but I think there are better options. I think I bought the wrong mouse. I should have bought the ZA13, and that size should be more optimal for me. If you have bigger hands than I do, then this might be alright for you. But I'm honestly waiting for Zowie to improve these cables. I mean, if you want to buy this mouse, then you most likely want to paracord it, and then the cost is quite high. It's a niche shape, and there are people who like it. But it's really hard to recommend this one, unless you have an MM711 and you think that's too low profile, for example. So thanks for watching, thanks for the support. Remember to click the like button if you enjoyed the video, and hit that sub button, and see you in the next one.